Hi everyone, it's Katya. Thank you for stopping by and visiting my channel today. I have some really fun faux glass pop-up cards. They're really simple. Now the ones on screen that you see here are a little bit more involved because of all the die cutting, but you can keep these really simple, and I can't wait to show you how easy these are to make. The reason I'm calling them faux glass pop-up cards is because they're not like your standard cards that open up at the top or the side. They basically are freestanding by the one pop-up mechanism, but there's a really simple trick that I can't wait to share with you on how easy it is to get this to work. Now, because I didn't want to have this be a super long video, I have all my die cut pieces ready to go. So the first piece I used is a 110-pound cardstock that measures 5.5 by 4.25, which is a standard size A2 card. And that piece needs to be the exact same size as the front piece, the faux glass, so to speak. And all I did was take a piece of transparency that you use overhead that I had in my stash, and I put some iridescent sticker paper on top, and then I just simply cut a hole out of the middle. Now you can get really creative, so I decided to take a piece of cardstock in blue that is a little bit smaller, so it's 4 1/8 by 5 1/4, and I thought that would be nice to put right on the back end, and that will go behind the pop-up section. And then I just have the circled die cut pieces here that I'm going to put in the center on the top. Now here's the mechanism. It is a card strip that measures 2.5 inches high by 7.5 inches long, and then we're going to just do all of our score marks. So the first score mark you're going to make is at 1/2 inch, and then it's going to be at 1 1/4, and then at 2, and then at 4, 4 3/4, and the last one will be 5.5. And essentially what I'm doing here is making a little box, and the box is going to have a pop-up mechanism. So you can do this separately by cutting your letter M size pieces or your letter W, and you'll see what I mean when I show this piece that it's put all together. I just felt it would be a lot easier and provide more stability if you did it all in one piece. Now the first part I think you should fold is the 2-inch piece. So the part that measures from 2 inches to 4 inches, that's going to be the easiest part. You're going to fold that back. And then you're going to do a mountain fold, so you get like a W or an M, the letter M, and you'll see what I mean here in just a second. And then you want to do the other piece too. So you're going to have a box that has a pop-up mechanism, and see how this whole thing comes together. So do you see how that will sandwich there and you get the letter M or W, just depending on how you see it? And then I have a piece of tape, and I'm going to adhere this together if I can get the tape off. I'm leaving my struggles in here so you guys can see it. It's so frustrating. Anyway, so I just decided to make this easy on myself and use score tape, but you could absolutely use liquid glue if you wanted to. Okay, so you're going to burnish the sides down, maybe not so much using your fingernails like me because it will break them. Actually, I just couldn't even find my bone folder. So basically this is the piece and how it's going to look when you're finished with it. And sorry you get to see all the mess on my desk here, but crafting is real, right? Anyway, so this is the mechanism, and you can see if it folds really nice and flat when you put it on the mechanism there on the card. But here I am. I will tell you, I was struggling with this tape, and rather than have you painfully watch me take this off, I just did it off camera and then came back. And this is the center panel that I used, an embossing folder from Spellbinders. I don't remember the name off the top of my head, but I will link it down below if it's still available. So this is the back panel, and it's on that 110-pound piece of cardstock. And then the folding mechanism, the pop-up mechanism is what you see here. And now the trick to doing this is to make sure you have a really sticky adhesive on both sides of this pop-up feature. Now again, like I said, you can use liquid glue, but I felt like a little bit more confident using some really sticky double-sided adhesive here, so that's what I'm using. Okay, so the reason I am taking the double-sided adhesive and putting that on the pop-up mechanism and then adding the piece of acetate that has a cut hole in the middle, or it could be a square or a diamond, whatever you want. The reason I did that is because I feel like if you put a strong double-sided adhesive on the back of this mechanism and you adhere the pop-up piece, the faux glass that I'm going to put right here, I just feel like if you have contact with adhesive to paper on both sides, then it'll help that piece of acetate stick down a little bit better. So a lot of you guys say, hey, leave your mistakes in, because I don't call myself an expert crafter. I'm far from it, but I call myself a seasoned one, because seasoned to me means I've been doing this for a long time. And I always make mistakes, and you'll see a big one right here pretty soon. So here's me trying to get off the struggle bus by putting this piece of acetate down, and I wind up just winging it. I could have just put it on the edge and then removed the double-sided adhesive later, but this worked out. It was fine, and it topples over, but I will tell you, once you position it and fold it back and forth and maneuver it, it does stay on display really nicely. So the next piece I'm going to be using is a circle die cut that I have here, and right now it looks like it's centered and it's in the right place, but I put this down, and that, when I tell you that double-sided adhesive is really strong, it's really strong. And then I was just realizing, uh-oh, that doesn't look centered to me. So, yep, here I am just ripping it off. So off screen, I went ahead and cut another circle the exact same size. And I wanted to give this another whirl and put some more sticky tape down and double-sided adhesive, and then try again to center that a little bit better. So I just put that double-sided adhesive right there in that opening, and part of it touches the acetate, which is perfect. That's exactly what I want. And then I'm going to put the circle down and then assemble the rest of it. But I wanted to tell you, if you don't have acetate, or what I'm using here, which is the overhead film transparency, go ahead and try using a piece of laminated sticker or laminated sheets, which is what I did on the other two, and it turns out fine as long as they're thick acetate or laminated sheets. Then you're going to be just fine. You could even take some packaging that you receive from some items that you receive. That would work too, but these are really flimsy, and I just want to let you know that even though they're a little bit on the flimsy side, they've held up beautifully, and they display beautifully as well too. And so anyway, here I am going to put some glue, one of my favorite glues that I've been using that's really inexpensive. And anyway, I am putting some glue on the back of this, and then I'm going to put it on the center there. And this turned out really great. I was super happy with it. And then I'm going to add one more piece of a circle that goes right in the center so I can add a sentiment. But off screen, I went ahead and die cut a bunch of flowers from Spellbinders that I really love, and I will adhere those on the panel. So you'll see here in a minute, I'm going to show you how this whole thing turns out. So I have the blue cardstock that's on the back panel, which allows you to see right through that clear piece of acetate that I have there. What I love about it is you can do anything. Like in the next example I show you, I'm actually going to be using some cardstock that is a pattern paper from something I have in my stash, but you could use an embossing folder in the back and adhere that to the back. The sky's the limit. Basically, you could do some stamping that would make it really fun. And what I love about this whole feature is that you can add florals, you can add balloons, you can do anything that you want, and you can adhere them towards the back like I'm showing there. You can sandwich them behind the circle piece that I have there, or if you cut a square, you can tuck things in different places, and it gives it a whole lot of interest because you're not just putting it on the top. So see here I have some flowers. I'm not really crazy about how this turned out, but it's glued and I'm just going to live with it. But see how it squishes and folds and flattens really nicely? It's perfect. So I really love the fact that this design came together so easily. And here are the die cuts that I used from Spellbinders called Garden Wreath Add-ons. I used some of these, not all of them, but I just put these on, and I wanted to keep the color combinations of the florals white and neutral because there's so much else going on the top part of the card. But I love how this design turned out, and you could put a sentiment on the back, or you could put even a little envelope or a little card that you can stick and pull out of to write your own sentiment. Now this was my first attempt. I'm going to call this my prototype, and I love how it turned out. I love the pierced background. I love the florals that I did, that I used from, those are also from Spellbinders as well. The only thing I don't like is the bulk where I added the foam adhesive in the right at the top, you can see right there, because it just was a little bit too bulky. So I recommend that unless you're going to hand deliver this, you can certainly do that, but that allows more opportunity to stick pieces of die cuts in to really make this card pop. But I think that this would be better served in a 4x6 envelope. And here's the last one. So here I had 2 die cuts, and I used pattern paper on the back die cut, and this time I used 2 pieces of acetate, so I have a floating frame, so to speak, like a floating background and a floating front on the frame. And then I just put the pattern paper, and then I cut the same die cut on the back in white, and then I made a little pocket where I can add my own sentiment, and you can even add a gift card if you want. Now, if you wanted, you could take clear acetate and do the folding pop-up mechanism with that too. That way it would really allow you to see the piece of cardstock that you have in the back or patterned paper. So here are all the designs I made. I would love to get your feedback. Please tell me in the comment below which one is your favorite, and also if you think you'd give this a try. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Thank you so much for stopping by, giving me a thumbs up, and I will catch you in the next video. Ciao for now.